All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Run! Go! Get to the podcast!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a podcast?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and
Podcast.
and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey everyone, welcome to Get to the Podcast. That's Get to the Podcast with the number 2. My name is Diego de Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
Oh my God. We really need to start talking about these things beforehand.
do that?
Before you just. No.
Do that first thing again where you're like, walk.
No.
Dude, that's kind of
Oh,
close. It's
man.
just not digital.
It's not close
It's
to
analog.
anything.
It's
It's
analog.
more like high pitch. It's like,
It sounds like a death rattle.
It's
Like-
analog, not digital. That's the problem.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so
I swear those Transformer noises are Michael Bay just sitting on a microphone being like,
it's like Steven Spielberg doing the Velociraptor in Jurassic Park.
That sounded like way too good in
I
that
know.
video. I was like, that's bull. They
No.
like added in like a Velociraptor sound, and Spielberg was like, yeah, that was really me.
Yeah, they added in a real Velociraptor sound.
Oh, you know,
all that
whatever.
shit, yeah.
Whatever.
No, but
Oh, I could do
Yeah.
a Velociraptor.
no.
Ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
No. Wow, it sounded like Mike Tyson taking a shit.
That's a great one.
Yeah,
That wasn't bad. That
I
wasn't
feel like
bad.
we need to discuss the because you always pull out these things related to the episode as we start, but we never
Yeah.
discuss them beforehand, so I never know what you're gonna do, and I hate it 100%
Sounds great.
of the time. 100% of the time, I can't. I like
No, like,
You know what that sounds like? You know what
there's
that actually
definitely
sounds
a high
like?
percentage where he nails it.
You know what that actually sounds
because
like?
you're a
Nick?
good person, and I'm a naturally critical,
I think that's
horrible,
what it is.
judgmental.
It just literally
I think
sounds
that's
like
what it
you
is.
have a personal problem and it sucks for you.
I want to chuck my microphone at you and then choke you out with the cord. But hey, listen, guys, it's
Hi,
great
I'm
to
Nick
be here.
Gambino, and I
It's
don't
great
like
to be
anything.
here.
Wait, which one? I couldn't tell if
don't
that
know.
was
Which-
the real Nick or
Yeah, that was that 5%.
Wow. All right, what are we talking about?
Bumblebee. We're talking about the new Bumblebee movie.
Bumblebee tuna.
Yeah, this is
Bumblebee tuna.
Transformers 19 or something. Which one is this? This is,
No, it's -19 because it's a prequel.
Yeah.
Why don't they just start
okay.
doing that? Why don't they call prequels negatives, right? So like when they do,
Because it's not a negative movie.
well, because
people
Star
don't like
Wars is the only
negatives,
one that
people like
Star Wars
positives.
is like the only one that started at episode 4, right? But if A New Hope was episode 1, then Phantom Menace could have been -3 or -1, right? Like Star Wars episode
Yeah.
-1.
That just sounds like too
Well,
complex for something
I
that's
feel like somebody's got to do it
I
one
think when
time
re-
and see how it
How
goes.
how would that sound in
I don't know.
conversation? That's the problem.
It would be
Hey,
it'd be
did you watch?
terrible.
Did you watch the -1 Star Wars film?
I mean, episode -1.
I don't
That
think
was-
I've ever seen a film with a negative
That was
moniker
awesome.
in the title, like
like-
-1, -2.
No,
I like
you
how
never
they
see
took
that.
-3 and then
No, but
how
it,
they
it would
segue
get
to
shortened.
-2.
No. It would get short. It would get shortened to like -2.
All right, we're getting
-3.
this is like
Oh, that sounds great.
What are we
Nick.
talking about?
He just said that sounds
I'm
great.
losing my
Yeah,
mind.
it would just they'll just shorten it.
No,
to
you know what the problem?
-1.
Yeah, but then once
Neg
it gets
2.
to 4, though, it's gonna sound like if a white guy says it too fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Neg 4,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a real.
That's
There's
what-
gonna be some problems. Guy saying
God.
neg 4 real quick as a white guy. It's not gonna.
Sometimes he has
not
great
gonna go
ideas.
over
if
good.
somebody mishears you like just slightly.
Yeah.
it's all over.
It's all over.
Yeah.
I just had an interesting thought. Can you imagine like being a teenager when the original Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi came out, and then thinking like, oh crap, this is 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, and 3 got me coming in the next couple years, and then like 50 years later, you're like on your deathbed, and like finally George Lucas
What
like
the
shits
fuck,
out
Lucas?
1, 2,
Yeah,
and
or
3.
no, imagine knowing you were gonna die and it wasn't even they weren't even in pre-production yet.
Yeah.
like you know, being like,
That's
I want to see
crazy.
this so bad, and like 1990 comes, it's 7 years after the last film, and you still don't have anything. There's no news of pre-production, and then you you get cancer, and you're like, fuck, are you serious? Are you
That's
fucking
awful.
serious?
Well, it's like that movie, Fanboys.
I never saw that.
You ever see that? You never saw Fanboys? Did you ever see it?
I saw it a long
Did you
time
see it?
ago.
It's
I
based
I
on a
remember
true
you talking about it at
story.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. It's based on the true story about the group of kids that broke into LucasArts or something,
Yeah.
or Industrial Light and Magic, and stole an early copy of Episode 1 because one of the kids
Oh,
was dying of cancer.
Shit.
And the kid actually died of
Just
cancer.
before Make-A-Wish got in with Hollywood?
Well, so they I don't think they actually stole it, but they broke in with the intention to steal it, and then got caught, and then told like this story of like why they did what they did, and then George Lucas like allowed the kid to actually the dying kid,
Not
to
the
watch
ones-
like
not
an
the
early
accomplices.
copy of episode 1, and then he
Wow.
died like a month later
man.
or something.
And
It's a
then-
sad movie, but it's a good movie.
That is sad. I feel like they should do another one where it was actually all bullshit. You know, where like that's their fucking like.
I'll do
their
a reverse
story.
where like the kid doesn't die. And
Yes.
Then,
I mean,
but
like
then why,
a
what's
like
the,
a -1 film.
Yeah, what's the thing? Like,
Before-
what's the purpose of breaking in? Just like to be a horrible person? And
I don't
like,
know.
steal
That's
a
why we're
copy?
spitballing here. I mean, I
Oh.
thought all ideas are good ideas.
No.
No?
I'm
What is
surprised you haven't seen
All right,
it.
let's go.
No,
let's
I've
go
never
back
even heard
to
of it.
Transformers.
Never even
I think
heard
it
of
was called Fanboy.
Is George Lucas in the movie?
No.
No,
I don't think so,
Okay,
no.
can we
But
get
that's
off
what
of
you're-
George Lucas? 'Cause
We
do
literally
this all the
digress into
time.
Star Wars all the time.
We
talk
We do this all. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We talk about Star Wars all the time. Let's.
I will just say.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see Solo?
No, I haven't seen Solo.
You
Listen,
said you were going to see it this
I
last
said I
weekend.
was, but I got busy. I have a life too.
I mean, like not a real one.
Well, it's halfway there.
Your life's more important than saying Ron Howard's Solo.
Direct.
So
a
I'm
Star
sorry.
Wars movie.
There
So
you
you
And
know
I'm not-
how I
I'm
feel
not-
about Star Wars, so that's not a good question. Okay.
But it's Ron
Star
Howard.
Trek.
I
We're
lo-
Trekkies, you and me.
It's a great
We're
movie,
Trekkies.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you
All right.
did you hear Patrick Stewart?
Oh my god, I fell asleep.
He's coming back to Star Trek Discovery. He's going to be in Star Trek Discovery.
I actually haven't watched
Just
any
letting
of
you
it,
know.
man. They finished the first season.
Wow,
right?
what kind of Trekkie are you?
I didn't want to watch it like episode to episode, so I'd rather wait for all the seasons to
That's
air.
what I said about
I don't even know
Westworld.
how
Give
to
me
watch
shit
it.
about
What,
it.
what? How do you stream it? Like, it's not on Netflix.
It's CBS,
not on
right?
It's
Hulu?
ABC.
Is it ABC or CBS?
CBS All Access.
Yeah, it's a CBS
What
app.
is that?
It's an app.
Is that-
like
can I-
they have their
yeah.
own
Do I
streaming
have to get it
Season
on my?
one is there.
Do I have to turn
Season
my
one's there.
computer on or something to watch this shit?
platform.
Season
no,
one
you
is
put it on
there.
your phone.
I don't want to watch it on my phone.
You can watch it on. You can watch it on streaming TV.
Don't you have?
too.
What do you use? You have a.
I
an
normally
app? You
use,
don't have
like,
an Apple
the
TV?
Xbox or
You have an-
something,
You have an
or
Xbox. They
PlayStation.
may have the app for it.
It's on Amazon. Season one's
It's
on
an app
Amazon.
on many.
Oh, it's on
platforms.
Amazon.
Season one's
Do
on
I have to
Amazon.
pay for it?
No.
It's I can
It's on
stream
Prime.
it just
Yeah,
for
stream it
Prime.
on
Oh
Prime.
shit!
Yeah.
Then I'll watch it
Yeah.
tonight.
No,
You should really watch it. I
Guarantee
think
you're
it's
not going
really
to.
cool.
Oh, I'm gonna watch
that-
it.
Yeah, I think it's really
Star
cool that
Trek.
Captain Picard's coming back.
That's cool.
That's just pretty sick. So.
This is amazing. So, what does this have to do with Bumblebee?
Oh,
Bumblebee
what does
tuna.
Star Trek had to do?
I don't know. How did we get
Star Wars.
completely
I have
digressed?
no
Oh, you start
idea.
talking about negative films and
Yeah.
shit, and then
It was all your fault,
Then I
see?
start
I've
thinking
just-
about
You're
episode
such a
1,
jerk.
2.
This might be the moment where I check myself into rehab because
I blame you.
Jesus Christ.
We're like halfway through. We
I'm
haven't
literally
mentioned-
like sitting here like
feel
I
like
don't
it's-
want to digress, but I can't help
We haven't
myself.
talked about Michael
feel
Bay
like-
or Megan Fox once in this podcast.
I feel like it's an episode of Breaking Bad. You know, like Jesse's friends. They talked about with these shows. Remember with Babylon? All right, so
Okay, so they
And
dropped
we're
the
not, we're
trailer.
not even on drugs. Like that's the craziest part.
all right,
That is crazy.
let's talk
We
about
need to get on
Bumblebee.
that. So Bumblebee, I don't even like the name. That's that. I mean,
only
I know
because
his
it
name
makes
is
you think
Bumblebee,
of the
but
tuna.
that's all I think of. Bumblebee tuna. You know, when nature
Why
calls.
is it called Bumblebee tuna? That doesn't even make sense.
But it's a great name.
that's like cockroach tuna.
No,
like,
but
it
I
doesn't
think
even
of,
make sense.
I think of Ace Ventura when
Two
nature
things that
calls.
don't go together.
Remember when he's walking around and he's doing that greeting? It's like the African greeting, but he's saying it wrong. And
Wait.
Ace Ventura when nature calls. Bumblebee tuna. Bumblebee tuna.
Bumblebee tuna. Yeah.
I do remember.
Like,
that.
what did the guy get stung? when he caught a fish?
I
or
have
something?
no
I don't know.
idea.
Anywho,
It just rolls off the
It
tongue.
rolls off the tongue. But
let's
but
talk about the new trailer.
Okay, the
Yeah.
new trailer, they dropped it. They're doing. I mean, they've been working on this for a while now.
Yeah.
They actually put together. There was this kind of, I wouldn't say legendary, but there's this famous writers' room put together with all these like A-list writers a couple years ago, and they formed this writers' room for to crack a lot of these kind of big franchise pictures and like come up with and generate huge tentpole kind of ideas. And it was, all A-list guys.
Yeah.
And I know one of the ones they were tackling was Bumblebee, where they were like, okay, good. And that was actually, that idea came out of that room. Like they were like, they didn't go in, they didn't give them writing assignments. They said, you go figure out movies, you
Right.
know, and just come up with ideas, and you just spend time in this room together and just fucking generate ideas.
It's a very popular thing in the last 5 years, there've been a lot of like kind of spin-offs.
Spin-offs,
of, like,
prequels.
franchises.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing as reboots, remakes, spin-offs, prequels.
Yeah.
It's like
I guess
staying
it's not
close
really a
to
prequel. It's
establish.
more of like a spin-off, really, right? I mean, even though it takes place earlier, it's not a prequel.
It is a spin-off.
It's a spin-off prequel though. It has to be
Yeah.
a prequel, right? Technically,
It is a prequel.
like Solo is a spin-off prequel. It's aside from the Skywalker saga, but it's still
But they didn't really
considered
tie it
a
into-
prequel.
They did. If you see the trailer, they
Well, Solo doesn't really tie into.
That's what I'm saying. Solo.
Yeah.
doesn't.
They talk
But it's
about
considered a
how
prequel.
some of the
Yeah.
And
stuff
a
that
spin-off.
he doesn't have, like his voice and stuff. It's a prequel.
Yeah, because he said
They-
every adventure.
they-
Like
they give reference to
tag
the
in
other
the
films.
tag in the trailer is like every
Does it-
adventure has a beginning, which I'm like, no fucking
Does
shit.
it
I
feel
hate when they
weird?
throw this shit at me in trailers. It's like every adventure has a beginning.
Wait,
I'm like, really?
But does it feel weird that they're doing this like after 5 films with Bumblebee? You're like, now you're doing a Bumblebee. So I mean,
True,
if
he's
they
a
had done
popular
like,
But
character.
this has been
if
in
they
the
had done 2
conversation for a
Transformer
while.
films and then they did a Bumblebee spinoff, I'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, this is fresh.
It's-
But like, I'm like, Bumblebee has been a major character in 5 major films,
Yeah.
and now they're doing a spinoff, and I'm like, I don't know if I can handle more of
It
this.
comes across as
It took
cash
a lot
grab.
of energy for me to watch the most recent one,
But
and I
what
was
they-
like,
I didn't watch the last 2.
okay, this movie's so crazy.
Yeah, Age
Like,
of
we're
Extinction and like Last Night.
Did
or
you guys
whatever.
watch it?
I haven't watched it last night.
The last night.
Yeah,
No,
no,
I
I didn't
haven't
watch
watched
that. And Age of Extinction, I watched
It's
only a
fun.
few
It's a
minutes of.
fun, totally ridiculous falling through the sky for 40 minutes and a giant Earth thing, Transformers, Homeworld, crashing
They
in.
do it
It's-
really well,
It's
though.
Independence Day 7.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous, like seriously, like
Yeah.
this thing is like crashing into Earth. It's not this bigger than Earth, and you're like, how is this? How does Earth even gonna fucking survive this?
Right.
Yeah.
But Mark Wahlberg saves the day,
Of course,
so
he
it's
does.
all okay.
He does everything. He saved Detroit.
He's amazing. He's like King
Yeah.
Arthur too, right? He's King Arthur, and Anthony Hopkins is in it, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
like that elevated the whole movie. I was like, even though Anthony Hopkins' character is ridiculous, I was like, I liked that he was in it. I was like, okay,
I
this
think
feels like a real movie.
Right. I didn't see it because I kind of got. I really liked the first Transformers movie.
I did too.
I
thought it
really
was great.
enjoyed it. John Turturro, just
Even
Shia
Shia
LaBeouf
LaBeouf,
was
yeah.
good.
Megan
Megan Fox,
Fox.
it was like my introduction to her. I thought that first movie was great.
Yeah.
The second one and the third one, they were fine, but it was that first one I felt like really captured it. Was kind of original. I mean, obviously it was a cartoon and toy line before, but it felt original. Like the
But
movie felt like
It would be
its
like
own
if
thing.
Thundercats was like a live action
Yeah.
film,
I
and it was
wish.
done right,
And it was
Yeah.
done right.
I
And
know,
They
I'm
got the
like-
voice of Optimus Prime, like from the cartoon. They got
Yeah.
him for the movie, and he still sounds fucking awesome.
He does.
Autobots.
Exactly.
He's got to be like a million. Like he probably went from like living in like a condo somewhere to like buying, all the money he's made off of all these
on Prime.
movies. He's like, oh, Transformers is dead. I burned through all that in cocaine back in the 70s.
How have they
or
not made
something.
him the voice of Amazon Prime yet? Amazon Prime, like it's it's Optimus Prime, Amazon Prime. How is he not like
There
their
isn't a voice
voice?
in
They-
Amazon Prime.
That's what I'm saying. Why don't they do that? Why
So
don't they
this-
They already have
him?
Alexa.
This next
Well, I mean,
statement is
they should make-
copywritten.
they should- give us that
Everybody
alternative.
wants AI to be
For-
women.
for
Nobody
our
wants a male
purposes.
AI.
Here we go.
It's sexist, actually.
This
It's
next
sexist,
statement is going to
yeah.
be copywritten, so they should use it on GPSs.
That would be awesome.
That would be cool, actually.
That would be
awesome.
cool. I mean, I
Like,
would
you
like
have
that.
that you literally
option-
feel like you're driving a Transformer.
Although
If you
I
have
don't
audio.
use voice. I haven't used voice on my GPS in a long
No,
time.
I keep mine off. I keep mine
Yeah.
off too. Yeah, I don't
I
like how
used
it
to.
interrupts my music.
But
or
you
my
wouldn't
podcast.
use it
I don't
if
like
it was a
somebody
Transformer
talking to
voice.
me. I just don't like the
If
talking.
The worst
if
is-
Optimus Prime was guiding you, would you not use that voice?
I would.
I
a
would
little
use
bit.
it like
Yeah.
once or twice
Yeah.
out of like the novelty.
Exactly.
of
Oh, when
it,
the
but-
well,
When
just like
Google
everybody
Maps-
used Snoop Dogg
Yeah,
for a little bit.
when
and it was
Google
like-
Maps
Can
recently,
you get Snoop Dogg as like a thing?
I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a promotional thing or something.
Oh,
but
wow.
recently they had this thing where you could switch it and you become Mario. It was like Mario Kart, and your car was Mario Kart going through the GPS in Google Maps. And I switched
Wow.
to that. So I'm like, if you give me a little gimmick,
This is
I'll
in
use
Google
them.
Maps?
Yeah.
Oh, I've
They-
never seen this on
Have
my
you ever
Google
seen when they
Maps.
did the Pac-Man thing? They're on the anniversary of Pac-Man a couple years ago. They did a thing where
that
your
day
map will
must have
turn into
passed and I
Pac-Man.
didn't use it.
Oh yeah, and it's a promotional thing. And you have to go into a button, press it, and then it's not just automatically there. You have to switch.
And then
over
it
to
disappears or something?
Yeah, after a few days or something like that.
Okay.
All right, back to Transformers.
I've
Come on.
missed
We're-
all of
we're-
this.
Oh yeah,
We're
No, you gotta get
segueing
up.
so
You gotta get
many-
up. Anyways, I think they're doing a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, by the way.
Can we, hey,
That's it.
Hi.
Okay, Bumblebee tuna.
Was
So
there something else I read?
the trailer.
you guys said
Here-
what's the podcast?
All right, let's get the Bumblebee. Bumblebee tuna. All right, the No, put your phone down.
It was James Marsden is going to be in.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No.
Yeah, he just got
Well,
casted.
it was
in.
another. It's
A
another
A bunch
movie.
of people just
podcast.
got. Al Pacino's gonna be Once
we
Upon a
can't
Time in
even
Was
Hollywood.
it James
about
Marsden
one
that's going to be in
film
a Sonic
at all.
film?
Yeah, that might
I
be.
am trying
Yeah,
to
that sounds
keep
Maybe
right.
that's what
That
it
sounds
was.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
sync.
Dude,
and talk
Sonic the
about
Hedgehog, man. If they make a good Sonic the Hedgehog film, which has never happened.
As long as they don't do the animated with the live action and it looks shitty. Like I don't like when
Yeah,
they
no,
do that with
I want to see Where the
Smurfs.
Wild Things Are, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Seriously.
It's live
Please,
action, and he's like a freak.
subscribe.
Yeah.
He's like a creature.
Let's
be
get
awesome.
to the randomness.
Labyrinth
It's
style.
the new
Yeah.
random podcast that we've started where we talk about random subjects.
I'm just gonna cut his mic in post.
So anyway, Bumblebee.
Bumblebee
and
tuna.
Michael Bay is not directing this. It's anime
Travis Knight,
director, right?
Travis Knight. Yeah, he's the guy who did that Kubo strings. What the fuck is that called?
Kubo and the Two Strings.
Yeah, the stop motion
Stop motion
animation.
animation,
It was like a
correct.
Japanese kind of a
Mm-hmm.
thing. But
looks-
Hailee Steinfeld's in it, who I really like from
Exactly.
True Grit.
Yep.
True Grit.
Hailee Steinfeld.
Yes, she's from True Grit.
She's-
See,
She was
you
in,
said this like 3 times today, and I keep hearing Seinfeld, and I'm like, Seinfeld's daughter?
Oh
But
my god, that would be.
I don't know
great.
if he has a daughter.
He has kids. I don't.
Oh, does he?
I don't know if any of them are daughters. But Hailee Steinfeld, she was in True Grit. Did you see
Yeah,
True
when I
Grit?
saw her face in
She
the
was
trailer,
amazing
I
in
was
that.
like,
she's
oh,
ama-
yeah,
she's
yeah, I
super
remember
amazing.
her.
She's
She was,
getting a
she
lot.
was also in that movie. God, I saw it recently. It's awkward something 17. What is this? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The Edge of 17.
I haven't seen it,
It was
but
actually
yeah.
a good coming of age, kind of like awkward, like almost John Hughesy in a way, but modern.
Yeah.
It was really good. She was great in it.
Like, what was that? The Traveling Pants?
Oh, it's just
The Traveling
I don't know that it's like that. I mean, I never watched those movies because of the title. I don't know. I'm
You're missing
like-
out.
Well, I just don't like women.
Oh,
And I don't
right.
respect that gender, it's like sisterhood, and I'm like, fuck sisterhood. And I also don't like traveling, and I don't like wearing pants. So
Well, all right. Those are Nick's thoughts and ideas. They don't represent the
they don't
podcast.
represent the podcast.
Ah.
Anyway, that was a joke. One of you laughed and tried to touch it. It was a joke. All right. But Bumblebee.
I like that
with
Diego's
Hailee
just
Stein-
like saying nothing.
He's just letting it go down in
I'm
flames.
just like, it's going down in flames. Like we literally have spent the last 16 minutes
Nick's just
talking
gonna
about
edit it out.
No, this is So we're gonna have 2 minutes of just saying the title Bumblebee and him saying Bumblebee tuna.
Bumblebee tuna.
That's all we're gonna have.
Bumblebee tuna. All right, but what do we need this prequel? Because I watched the preview and I'm like, I like her. It starts with her getting it's the same fucking setup of every goddamn movie where it starts with her getting a normal car, which ends up being a transformer. She gets that beetle bug, that yellow one, that old school one,
true Bumblebee.
Yeah, and then it turns into Bumblebee, and you're like, and it's Neil said this when we were watching the trailer. He's like, they're doing this like I give a shit. Like I've seen this happen so many times where it turns into a transformer and they make it look so epic in the trailer with the music swelling like as if it's not a scene I've seen 40 times.
Yeah.
And it is true. It's like we have seen that transformation. It's not epic anymore. Like it,
So
it
here's the
feels
thing what
like
made
it's
it
been done many
epic for
times.
me.
Yeah. It
here's
feels
why
too close.
Here's why
Too
it made it
close.
epic
Yeah.
for
To, like,
me.
the
It
release
didn't
of the
look
last
terrible,
because
but it just looked like
they
the
took-
same old, same
They
old.
took it didn't. I understand where you guys are coming from, but I think it looked epic because they took a lot of what you saw in this trailer is taking it back to the cartoon. It's taking it back to what Transformer was really known for.
They scale it back a little bit?
They scaled it back to Bumblebee. Like Bumblebee was a Volkswagen. That's where he was in the cartoon.
Right.
So they made him a Volkswagen. Another thing that a lot of people didn't really catch on to, they showed like one of the biggest battles that Transformers had outside of Megatron was Starscream. And that was one of the only flying Transformers for a long time.
Okay.
For a long time.
That's who that was?
So that's who
From
that
the
was.
animated series.
Yeah.
From the animated series, it was Starscream. So it seems like they're taking it back to a lot of the elements which made. They're refreshing it and taking it back to a lot of the elements which made the cartoon very popular. Right. And I hope that's what they do because there was a lot of stories with the kid and Bumblebee in the cartoon. That was one of the biggest stories within, I think what it had like 12 seasons or something like that, the cartoon.
I didn't watch much of it. I mean, I remember it. But
It was my Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Transformers,
G.I.
G.I. Joe,
Thundercats.
Thundercats,
Yeah.
and then I'm sorry to say this, but I did watch a little bit of Gem. If you guys
Gem.
remember.
Yeah.
They made a movie.
whatever it was until your parents were like, get your ass outside, like you've been watching TV too long. But you'd be up
Exactly,
at like 5, 6 a.m.
Yeah, but that was like,
turn that
it started
shit on.
like
It was, like,
7
magical.
or 8 or something like that, and then by 11:30 you were outside.
You got your giant bowl
exactly.
of, whatever, Fruit Loops or
yeah,
Captain Crunch.
Fruit Loops,
Yeah.
Captain Crunch, Lucky Charms, whatever. And
Did you ever watch Police Academy, the series?
I did.
The not the live action one they did in the 90s, but the
cartoons.
cartoon?
Yeah,
I loved it.
I did. Yeah,
I don't think I ever saw it.
Really? I love 80s cartoons were some of my favorite. 80s and 90s.
I missed
but
Fat Albert too. I never
Yeah.
that
watched
was
that.
70s, I think, though.
Was that in the
would've been a
70s?
little
But there were like
earlier.
reruns.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Fat Albert.
So Transformers, like you said,
all right.
Bill Cosby.
like you said, it was.
No,
Oh my gosh.
you can say Bill Cosby.
Can I?
He's a human being who acted in shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You can't say Bill Cosby.
We're not allowed to
Joe's
say his
dead.
But
name.
we can also-
No one says his name
Voldemort.
anymore. Yeah, like what the
Transformers. Where did it fall off?
Yeah. Oh, you're
film.
asking the question.
I'm asking the
I thought-
question.
Honestly, I would say like the second movie, I was still like I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Dark Side of the
cool.
Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon. I was entertained. I was into it. By the third movie, I just started. There was
Revenge
all
of
that
the
drama
Fallen.
with Megan
Yeah, Megan Fox wasn't
was,
in
like,
it. They
talking
replaced
all
her with
this
that.
shit and-
Yeah, she called Spielberg or Michael Bay like a Nazi, and Spielberg was like, fire her. And Michael Bay was like, yeah.
And Shia came back for the third.
He was there in third,
and
yeah.
then he left and went off
Wahlberg
the rails.
came in
And then
fourth one.
Wahlberg was 4 and 5.
Yes.
They try to
Which
revitalize.
I think is fine.
them.
Wahlberg is entertaining.
Yeah, it's kind of a reboot in a way. I mean, it just kind
But
of.
it's like a depressing world that they live in. Like, if you watch 4
becomes
and
like
5,
a post-apocalyptic.
yeah, it's
almost.
like a police state. Like the
Yeah.
Transformers are everywhere. There's aliens. Like the whole planet is afraid there's an invasion coming. And I'm like, this is depressing as fuck. And they're trying to make everything like they're just driving through towns that are deserted and
Yeah.
nobody lives anywhere because everyone's dead. And I'm like, this is like not a fun place to be.
Well, which is good that they did that, and like they didn't just keep trying to do the same thing as was done in the first 3 films. It's good they at least rebooted it to some degree in 4 and 5.
I think the only thing they
and I
changed
still
was Mark
Wahlberg.
Wahlberg.
No, the world felt different. Like he just said, it was more kind of post-apocalyptic, fucked up. It wasn't like that in the first 3 films. It was normal. It was like they were normal worlds. There was a normal setup.
Did you guys see the fourth one?
Storyline.
I saw like a few minutes. I watched like the first 20 minutes of it. I
TJ
think.
Miller's in it.
Yeah,
the
that's right,
comedian.
yeah.
There's a scene where they kill his character, and it's just so undramatic. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, he was like, it's an interesting character. You're like, oh, it's TJ Miller. He's gonna survive this movie. No,
Right.
like
Didn't
30
do that.
minutes in, he literally gets like blasted with some heat shit, and then he turns into like Ash, TJ Miller,
does, yeah.
and then like disintegrates. And I'm
Right.
like, and then it's just like uneventful. They're just like, oh, and then they keep going on their adventure, and I'm like, I don't see. You know what? If you can't handle that and make that somehow like a emotional, because they spent a
impact.
lot of time with his character up
Yeah.
until that point, and then they just killed him like it was
Right.
nothing.
Right.
there was a
That
lot.
always takes me out when they can't handle that well. And
You
make
know what
it
I don't
seem
like? You know what
like
they
you
seem to do
care.
sometimes is they're going so fast. They don't stop and say, "Hey, actor, deliver the fucking goods and react to this death." You know what I mean? Like Mark, like you can do it.
Well, this
you
is
can do
Michael
it.
Bay.
You've done
He doesn't have anyone.
right. That's what I'm
react.
saying. He's like boogie. Well, I mean, Bad Boys. He was able to do it. You know, like when the kid gets.
That's when he was
13th hour,
hungry.
he was
now
able
he's
to do
not
it.
hungry.
I
Now
know,
he's
but
just
he
like
just
a
did
cash
13th
machine.
13th hour, and that was great.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Benghazi
that's true.
one.
That
That
was
was
right.
good. So he's
Yeah.
able to do it, but he just needs to get a little more intimate. But he's thinking visual effects. But if you look, it's just sort of like, hey, Mark, you could do it. You've done movies like Boogie Nights and The Departed. You know how to bring
Three
it as an act.
Kings.
3 Kings. You're a good
Yeah.
actor. You need to like react properly to this, and we need to film. We need to spend some time on the emotion. Lord of the Rings is a perfect example when Gandalf falls into the pit with the Balrog kind of thing. And he goes, "Fly, you fools!" Like that whole scene is so emotional, and they give him time where he's like, "No," and it's slow motion, and they're grabbing
You hear
him,
the
and
arrows,
are
like,
coming,
it's-
zooming
yeah.
in. But they put it into slow motion, so it slows down the feeling of it. You could see the fucking anguish in
Yeah.
his face, and they get outside, and they're all like in grief and mourning, and they give them time. You know, like whenever this thing
There's some
happens in these
films
big
it's, like,
films,
fast,
it's
yeah.
too much, and it's sort of like, no, give it a human reaction.
Yeah.
If I was with a team of people that I was close to, and we're going, and one gets murdered, killed, dies in front of me in some way.
Right.
After I get to safety, I'm going to be like torn up inside. You know?
Yeah, and I've seen it done in a way where like you're in a rush, you're fleeing danger, and someone dies on the way. But I've seen it done where it's handled and you actually care that somebody
You're just saying
make
that
it.
actor
Right.
could have been utilized throughout the film.
It was just it's just like when I was watching it, I was like, this is why I'm out. Like, this is why I don't like Transformers films, because it's like it doesn't take itself seriously.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like telling a story, but the creators don't even really care. They're just making a spectacle because they know people will come and
Right, and they're
pay
fun
to see the
movies. They're
spectacle.
very much
They're
pork
using the
con-
brand, yeah.
They're very much popcorn flicks.
That's
you
what
know,
it felt
and-
like, and I was like, the first film didn't feel that way. Like,
Right.
it
I felt like they
seemed
did a
more,
good job.
Yeah, like you actually
Really
cared
good.
about these characters and cared
And
about
it
Optimus.
didn't, it didn't
and cared
throw
about,
it didn't throw Transformers at us like immediately in that film. They
Yeah.
they had the helicopter scene with the military base. I think it's in the beginning, right, where
Yeah.
they come down and you think it's a guy in there, but it's not really. It's a big fucking Transformer.
Yeah.
And they really like they build up to the Transformers, and in the later movies they're like, no, just throw Transformers at them in the first 2 minutes because they know.
just
for the first one-
overwhelm them.
I'm
Yeah.
like, why don't you spend the first 20 minutes of every film not showing us Transformers again, just to make it special again?
It was
or
all about
something,
those
like,
scenes, the
hold back,
animation,
hold
and
back.
how.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too. I think they spent so much money and they spent so much time on those animation. I think this is why they're trying to sponge as much as possible.
And they
out of
are
it.
really
because
good.
there are. I mean,
The visual
they
effects
literally
are incredible. Like I,
And
I
they've
have
only,
to admit,
they've only
like,
gotten better.
They really are, and
Yeah.
I do. I
literally looks incredible.
It makes me not hate those films because they do that part of it correct. Like that part
Yeah.
always looks incredible, and I can't front on that. I've got
Well,
to
they
be
got
like,
a Transformers ride at Universal
it's
Studios.
so good
and
too.
It's a great ride.
When we went there, we did it like 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
it's
It's fantastic,
So
yeah.
you become a Transformer.
Oh wow.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
it is.
You're like
good.
scaling buildings and
you're like
flying.
and you're
anyways.
fighting Megatron, and it's
Yeah.
it's intense.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got to go.
you gotta go.
We should talk about Universal Studios.
We could do a whole episode on it.
But yeah, no, I
They're
think
probably
I
going to
think
make a Bumblebee ride. I'm
They,
sure.
Well, they got the Transformers one. Why are they going to do it?
I don't know what they're
I don't
doing
know.
with the
Bumblebee
series
tuna.
to know if like this is the only movie that they're making because
Well,
literally
I
They
think
should
last
do a
five-
Shia
last
LaBeouf
5 years,
spinoff where
the
Shia
only-
LaBeouf is like living in the woods and it's like Logan, but it's Shia LaBeouf's character from the Transformers.
They just need to do a documentary. Bring
That's
a
what I want
documentary
to
crew.
see. And he like hunts Autobots or something. He's like hates them now.
You know he's already
He
doing that
ruined
in
his
real
life.
life, right? Like, so they just put a camera crew on him and just follow him around. He'll be fighting Autobots in the
I like
woods
Shia LaBeouf.
in no time.
It's unfortunate that he like.
I don't know what's true and
He's
what's
gotten
not.
beat down.
I don't believe general tabloid type stuff and even just general media stuff.
I'm like-
I don't believe other people spinning the narrative.
If-
He's done some weird things.
If
but I
you're a
don't know
big
the guy.
actor
I have
and
no idea
you're
what's
like
happening.
worth many millions of dollars and you're at a bar and you get drunk and somebody talks shit to you and you beat him up, like the public shouldn't be like, oh, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like that's what anybody would do.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. Like
I personally
to me,
don't
that's
have
like,
that kind of
he
shit
was
in my
drunk
life.
and somebody talked shit to him, so he beat him up, and now he's being painted as it's like psycho. And I'm like, no.
Yeah,
no.
there's other shit too.
Yeah,
but-
it wasn't just
Sean
it wasn't
Bean,
just that.
Sean Bean, physically assaulted somebody in London, like beat the shit out of this guy when he was drunk at a pub, and like he's still this amazing actor. Like nobody, it hasn't even tainted, and there are people like he's like the greatest guy because he played Ned Stark.
See, that's one
And
event.
Boromir.
But
But
you're talking about one event
Boromir.
compared to like Shia LaBeouf has a couple.
No,
of
Sean
events.
Bean has had multiple assaults where he's like gotten drunk at
Russell
pubs
Crowe
and just fucked
yeah.
people up.
There's a bunch of people that have done, but like.
Yeah, Russell Crowe's another one, but he's Australian. Like, I don't. What do people expect?
Yeah, if you're a Colin
Mel
Farrell, if
Gibson.
you're Irish,
If you're Mel Gibson, you grew up in Australia, you're gonna beat people up.
I know.
It's bad.
I don't know. All right. Let's get to some more fun topics. Bumblebee tuna.
You want me to?
But they should do this Shia LaBeouf spinoff.
They should. So, but I don't know. I think they're going to have to see how Bumblebee does, whether or not they're going to do more spin-offs of the Transformers.
It's gonna make them tons of money.
It might.
I
It
think
might
it
not.
will.
It might. There's such thing as a fatigue, and they might have Transformers
Parents
fatigue.
are gonna take their kids to see
I
it.
didn't see Optimus
Which
Prime
that's the
anywhere
oth-
in there, and that's
He's
a
not
big
supposed to
draw
be in
for
there.
those Transformers movies. No, I know.
But
Optimus
they may
Prime
have
not being
polled
in
or
it.
something. They may have polled and found out that there's a huge interest in Bumblebee, and that's
Well,
why.
I'm sure he
That's-
was a very popular character.
That's
in the
where it
movies.
started. That's where it started them wanting to do a Bumblebee film. This was like even like when I think this whole conversation of Bumblebee started like on the third Transformer. It
Yeah.
just took a long time to get there.
Yeah.
And I think because the momentum of Transformers was dying, they didn't touch it for a while. But I think now they've, maybe with those top end writers, they found a way to revitalize the whole series. And it doesn't look like it's that dark Transformer film.
No,
looks
it
like
takes
it's
place
it
in
like
like
this-
1987 or
Is that
something.
when it takes place? I was like, is that
Yeah.
the 70s or 80s? Yeah.
87.
Yeah, so it looks more like a
stripped back. They
family,
stripped it back a little bit too,
almost
and
like a little above family. I'm
You
not
got
gonna
John
say family
Cena.
film.
John
Yeah.
Cena's in it.
yeah, John Cena. I hope it's not some world-ending movie. I hope it's like a more intimate story about these Transformers.
No, that's what it looks like. If you look at the synopsis,
Yeah.
it's basically he's on the run. He's arrived at Earth, I guess, and he's like in hiding,
Yeah.
being chased by some government.
You know what it,
It
looks
does not
like to
look
me?
terrible
Black
at all.
Ops.
You know what it
whatever.
looks like to me? Mighty Joe Young.
I never saw
Bumblebee.
that actually.
Oh, you didn't see that?
Was that good with the giant gorilla?
Yeah, giant gorilla. Yeah,
It looks like a Mighty Joe Young,
which was
where-
basically King. It was a remake of a movie that was basically kind of a
King
King Kong.
You know, I think I saw the trailer and I was like, but he's not as big as King Kong, so I'm not interested.
It was an incredible
because he was
film.
like half his size of
yeah,
King
it was
Kong.
more of a drama.
Yeah,
It was
an
more than it
incredible
was
film, yeah.
action.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like a King Kong.
honestly,
It's
story.
like
like-
that movie that The Rock's the trailer for that new Rock movie.
Rampage.
Is it Rampage? Yeah, where
Yeah.
the gorilla like starts
Yeah.
growing and growing
Yeah.
and they don't
Yeah.
know why.
And
yeah.
then it fights that big ass fucking
like-
snake dragon thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in that movie.
I don't know. I think it already came out.
The aliens like blast.
What's it called?
I
Pacific
don't
Rim.
know.
Did
No.
it come out? No, Rampage.
Yeah,
I know,
he's
I'm just
messing
joking.
Did it
around.
come out already? God, Rock
think
is just
it did.
shitting
You
out
see that
movies. He's got like
skyscraper?
Skyscraper in this movie.
That
and then,
skyscraper film, that fucking scene where he runs and jumps off the crane into the building.
yeah.
is
And
the
then he's
most
talking to Ned
ridiculous
Campbell. She's like, "How
stunt.
did you get to the 150th floor of this building?" He's like, "Oh, I have
jumped.
one leg and I jumped off."
Have you seen the memes kind of like trying to like do the physics of this thing with the drawing and the fulcrum point and the like the degree, like the ankles and shit
Not
like that?
gonna
Like
happen.
this is him. Jump
But-
5 feet out, he would descend into.
Yeah,
I watched
exactly.
when we were watching that trailer. I think when we saw Solo, and I leaned over to you and I was like, this kind of shit that makes me appreciate Die Hard. Like
Right.
Die Hard at the time, I was like, this is like unrealistic. Him jumping off the building with a fire hose tied around his waist, totally realistic. Anybody could do it because look at the fucking Rock.
Right.
Look at every scene in this trailer is completely like impossible.
But Die Hard, yeah, because Die Hard literally actually probably would go over that way. He jumps. He's only a couple feet out from the building when he
the
jumps.
glass didn't even break when he hit
yeah.
hit the glass. He had to shoot out the glass to
He had to
swing
kick it
in
over and over with the
and-
smeared bloody feet kicking at the thing, and then
Yeah.
he ends up. Does he end up shooting it? Does
He
have
shoots
the,
it.
he has the
He shoots
machine
the
gun.
glass. No, he
the
has just a
SMG.
handgun.
No, doesn't he have the? He
He doesn't
has the thing
shoot
strapped
it.
around him. He still
Yeah,
has the
but
thing-
he shoots it with a handgun. I
Okay.
just watched it recently. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he shoots it and then he cuts it, and then the fucking thing actually falls down.
That's
and,
the
and
only
threatens to
part
pull
that I
him
was
out.
like, because those things are fucking heavy as
And
shit. I
it
feel like
yanked-
that would have just
Yeah.
yanked him out the window
Yeah.
if he hadn't unhooked. Like the fact that he was going slow never made
hose?
sense to me.
Yeah.
No, it was the metal.
yeah,
metal rig that like holds the hose.
It's
That
the
thing
valve,
is-
the valve
Oh,
thing,
okay,
the big
yeah.
metal,
Yeah.
and it falls, and then once it falls from the top of the building because it blows the roof blows.
He's laying
It falls.
in glass.
He's laying in the glass, all like
We got
trying
totally
to rest.
sidetracked. This has
Hold
nothing
on,
to do with
he's trying to
Bumblebee.
rest, and the thing falls, and as soon as it obviously. You know, the thing tightens,
Yeah.
the hose tightens, it then starts yanking
Yeah.
him back, but it probably would have yanked him straight out the fucking window. But
Yeah.
instead, he slowly starts sliding back, and then he wrestles himself out of it.
Yeah, he hooks it.
But
or
at the
whatever.
same time, he's at this point has such an adrenaline rush. Yes, he's resting, but he's still in this adrenaline state where
Yeah.
his body was probably just so fucking tense. I
Yeah,
don't know.
and I think he put his feet. You could see him kind of
Yeah,
put
he
his
did
feet
on the
something
frames or
to,
whatever.
like try and
Towards
stop.
the end, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh man. But yeah, that first Die Hard movie, the first one specifically.
How do we get on this again?
I give up.
John Cena.
I gave up.
It was John Cena, right?
No, we
And
went to
then we
Rampage.
jumped-
No, because
We
you said
went
Mighty
John
Joe
Cena.
Young.
Mighty Joe Young.
John
It was
Cena
Diego.
did it.
Diego
You
did
said
it.
What are you talking
Bumblebee,
Mighty Joe
Mighty Joe
Young.
Young. Mighty
No,
Joe
no,
Young.
that
and then
was
said
not it.
Rampage. Yeah,
You derailed
No, you
us.
guys were talking about King Kong.
No,
What
no,
are
you said Mighty Joe Young. Bumblebee reminds you of Mighty Joe Young. That's what you said.
Yeah, okay.
Now we're
That's
talking
a-
about Die Hard, bloody feet.
So you're saying because I reference a film, you guys go off on a
That's all it
tangent?
takes.
It is
Yeah.
my fault?
That's all
Yes.
it takes. It's all it takes.
Okay,
We're
well,
like-
I'm not going to say half of the dictionary as I speak then because it's
You
it's
already
gonna be-
don't say half the
True.
dictionary when you speak.
and you're a dick.
You're not in fear of that.
I said that. So,
But I would understand that reference if I had seen Mighty Joe Young. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
okay, great.
All right.
Oh, shit. Fuck. Remember the great movie that came out last year? Just say a fucking word and it like goes off in a tangent. It's both
true.
of y'all fault.
That's-
Take
that's-
accountability
that's
for
true. It's true.
it. Fuck a both of you.
If I could somehow figure
Fuck
out how to
both
take
of you.
any conversation and turn it into Die Hard, I will.
Think
Oh, yeah.
about it.
That's my fault.
exactly.
That's my
so
fault.
it's
I
not. It's not.
apologize.
Yeah. So
I
it's-
show you, I got a twas the night before Christmas Die Hard children's book.
Yeah.
I fucking love that. I'm sorry, what?
Did I get that for you?
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I need to see it. Actually,
wait,
I don't
did you
think
get
I
that for
ever.
me?
I think I did. Yeah.
No, you may not.
They're
have,
blaming
actually.
me. He just said the night before Christmas. I ain't saying.
Oh
damn
no,
thing,
no.
and you're blaming me.
I didn't get it for you.
No.
Callie got it for you.
Yeah, Callie got it, and then I showed it to you.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. It's like
amazing,
my favorite
right?
thing in the world. I'm gonna read it
Yeah.
every Christmas Eve to my daughter. It's
I
literally
found
Die
that-
Hard done and 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
Yeah.
And all through the party.
It's a
people
book.
were
It's like
drinking
a.
and
It sounds great.
this
Yeah.
Art.
We
anyway.
should talk
ho
about.
ho ho! Now I have a machine gun.
Yeah.
We should talk about
Anyways,
it.
all right. So Bumblebee.
We should talk about it.
Bumblebee.
So Bumblebee
Um.
is John McClane,
So he was a Mustang in the first one, right?
Chevy Camaro, I think.
Oh, was he a Camaro?
Was he a Chevy Camaro?
He was a Chevy.
Yeah, I think so.
And he was like real good friends with Shia LaBeouf.
No, he turns into a Chevy Camaro, or he was an old school one. He was a piece of shit car,
He was a piece of shit.
and then he turns into.
They can just touch something, and then they can like
Take the form?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
replicate
not
it.
touch. They can scan it.
Oh, they scan it. Okay.
They scan it. So that's
I
what
still
happened
don't
on the
understand
road.
that. Like, why
that's
don't
what
they
happened
just-
on the road. They scanned another. He scanned another Camaro.
But they kind of made it out like it's like a rare thing. Like it's not that they can do it anytime they want. That's why the Transformers generally tend, like Optimus Prime always becomes the 18-wheeler.
Maybe it's
Right?
just personality. It was a personality
remember.
thing. It could be a personality thing.
I feel
I
like
said
they
that
didn't
3
do a
times
good
in a
job
row,
of
but-
explaining that.
They probably did. We just need to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't
but-
think they did.
I am a big fan of Optimus Prime, so it's a little bit sad that he's not going to be in it. Bumblebee is a fun character. He's one of the better of the Transformers. We'll see. We'll see. This is where
actually
he
never
learns to
liked
use
the
the radio
fact-
to speak. This is where he learns to use the radio to speak. She
Correct,
she
yeah.
shows him how to do it.
And
in
that's
the trailer.
another.
I never
reference
liked
to,
the fact that he couldn't talk.
I mean, it's kind of good. He doesn't have a
And the
vocal.
fact that
Like
they-
somebody ripped out his fucking vocal.
No, I know,
cords or
but
whatever.
the fact that they drag it out for like 3 films, and then finally in the 4th or 5th film, like he gets a voice box and he's just like a normal talking robot.
he can
guy.
turn into any fucking car, but he can't just fix his goddamn vocal cords.
And the first film, I was like, "This is super
It's a missing
clever,"
element,
and
and
I
they
liked
speak about
it.
that
yeah.
in one of the movies.
Again, the
But
first film.
they dragged it out too long, and I
First
was like,
film's great.
"Guys, just get him a fucking voice box. Like, how hard is this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm
then
so-
they brought in
I'm done
those
with
those
this.
rapping, those gangster,
Yeah, the gangster.
twin like robots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was fun, but it was gimmicky. It
No.
just became so
I-
gimmicky.
that's
It
when
was
I was
like
out. Now
Fast
I
and the
remember.
Furious.
I thought it was very racist. I was like, Michael Bay's racist.
It could have been white.
It was like Fast and Furious.
Whatever it was, I didn't like it. I was like, they had like dreadlocks and everything, and I'm like, they're Transformers, and there were like these weird little like mini guys that were like a foot tall. There was just everything about it was weird to me.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that was the pyramid one, right?
That was
they
the
blow up
pyramid
the
one.
pyramid.
That was
Yeah,
the
I
pyramid.
think
Was that
so.
2 or 3?
I don't.
No, that was 3.
I don't remember.
You now
third.
reminded me why I was like turned off. I was like, this seems a little weird.
Yeah.
It was
But-
a little stereotypical, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Anyways, the new one doesn't look bad. Let's just. It looks
It's a
fine,
trailer.
but it doesn't. But exactly, it's a trailer. It doesn't look like it's trying to break any new molds. It looks like it's just trying to ride the coattails of the success of the Transformers franchise.
Yeah.
I think their best thing they could do was to strip it back a little bit,
Yeah.
and I guess that's what they're doing. It is a prequel. It's taking place in, I guess you said, the 80s, which is interesting. Anything that takes place in the 80s these days, I'm all for. I don't know why. That's just how things are.
You know,
Whether it's Stranger Things or It. Like,
so I will say,
Careful
like
with
this
reference.
movie's like trending. Like the trailer just came out, and there's a lot
It
of
is
people
trending,
that seem very interested. And there's like a point where I'm like, I don't know if I'm just getting old or I'm like, I don't feel like I'm part of the societal group anymore. There was a time in my life where I felt like
You're
I
very
had a similar.
fanboy.
Yeah.
You're doing
Yeah, I had a
Xbox
similar thoughts of
contests
like
and-
the masses where we all were like get excited about the same thing, and now I'm like I don't get excited about things that other people seem to say they're excited
Yeah.
about. I'm like, you're excited about that?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, Bumblebee's a
And
very
that's how I
popular
feel about
character.
this. I don't feel excited at all
Yeah.
about this.
I-
I believe if there
know
wasn't
if he
social
would-
media, I would still be excited. But I feel like
I'm like, I don't
social
know if
media-
these are paid Twitter bots that are like,
Yeah.
because that's a thing. That's
I feel like I'm being manipulated by the
real
system.
thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm like, am I being
I don't
tricked?
got it.
is
Are these
Russia
just
making me
fake?
like Bumblebee tuna?
all these Russian Twitter hacker dudes that are Twitterizing,
Swaying the Hollywood
Instagramming,
Yeah.
Snapchatting?
No, I think there's a following for Bumblebee. I mean, I understand like a lot of
Is
people
there
know.
following for Bumblebee? You think
There
there's somebody
is.
in life that's like, Bumblebee is my life? Like that's what I have
sure
posters
there are.
of it.
I'm sure
You can
there's
take it to
fans.
that
There's
level.
there are Transformers fans
There
that
are
are like that
Transformer fans
love
that have
Transformers.
specific Transformers.
Like
yeah.
that's their Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings or whatever.
And I get it. And all the power to you. Man. It's cool.
It definitely exists. I'm sure you could find a fan of like anything.
yeah,
like,
Comic
you
Con.
know.
I'm sure
Oh yeah,
there's
people would love.
dressing
people
up.
were.
Yeah.
There was fanboys for the Autobots, for Optimus
Decepticons
Prime, for
and-
Decepticons, for the Dinobots, for
By the way, at Universal
Dinobots.
Studios, those big, huge Transformers who come out, there's this like next to the ride outside. There's this loading dock kind of gate thing, and it comes up, and
It's
Optimus
cool.
Prime comes out, and he's like 9 feet tall, and it's a guy in a suit, but you can't tell. It looks like a fucking real.
looks real,
Thing
yeah.
comes out, and he's got the.
He says shit. He's
like,
like,
citizen.
roll out or whatever, and he's
rolls
like
out.
screaming at
But
you.
he
and you're
says
like, "All
certain
right, guy."
like he's like talks to kids. He
Nice
poses
to
with
meet
kids,
you.
and he's like, "Nice to meet you, citizen," or whatever it is. I mean, he's not fucking RoboCop.
Did we take
But then-
photos with
and
him?
then yeah, we didn't go and like put our arms on his ass or anything, but we took pictures of him and videoed him coming out. And then after a while, he
Do you
goes
have
away.
plans to use the muffler?
The tailpipe. So and then he goes back in, and like an hour later, fucking Megatron will come out, and he's like an evil,
Is it
psycho,
like the
and
evil
he's like,
version,
and he's
yeah.
doing it all up,
Yeah.
and he's got the voice going and everything. Like they have some pre-programmed voice kind of thing
That's
that
awesome.
comes out of him. I show you the videos of it. It's actually
really
pretty
cool,
fucking
actually.
cool.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I
cool.
want to say that they did have the Camaro there, like the Bumblebee, like on display somewhere.
Maybe one of the times you went. I not when we were there last.
It may have been like inside the gift shop or something.
Possibly. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I love
feel like
that
I
place.
saw
I love
it,
that
yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I don't know what Bumblebee is. It looks like the idea is right in terms of
Yeah.
like stripping it back, kind of making it a little bit smaller. It looks like it's a little bit of a smaller thing. I don't see like world-ending shit in the trailer.
It looks more
But
But
it-
it's
but it-
1987. It's before the world.
Exactly,
ended,
but it also just. But at the same time, it doesn't look like it's treading. It's finding new ground. It feels like it's still kind of like
Yeah.
just trying to be like in your face Transformers. And I kind of just wish like it would be a story about a girl who finds a little fucking baby robot thing, and they just hang out the whole film. It's like an E.T. and there's nothing else going on. And it's like drama, and there's little things, and they figured out a way to make it an intimate, personal story, and be like, wow, that was fucking different. They actually did what you never would have thought they did, which is they almost changed the genre.
I think that's
and
what the
and
trailer
didn't-
said.
They,
I mean, but he's
I
still
think it was
he's
bigger.
still
It
a
was
car.
bigger than that.
And,
There's still like flying fucking huge
There is,
battles.
but
and-
if you look at, of course we're going to see those, but there was scenes
saying,
where
I would
she's
be
jumping
interested if
in
they
the
didn't.
water and she's like touching his face. There was a lot of emotional parts, so it seemed like this trailer really showed that this film, it's about their connection.
which is fine.
So it's
him
I
not
mean,
being
it's-
afraid of humans anymore because
well,
of
him
this friendly human.
Yeah,
he runs
him
into.
to
and it
build
might
this
be
connection
great
with the girl.
It's one trailer, so it might actually.
And that might be what brings
Yeah.
out the action scenes where he's trying to protect her, he's trying to save us. So literally, I feel like the trailer says that it's going to be a personal story of Bumblebee and his connection to this girl.
Right.
So, and I hope it is that, and I hope it does work. I hope it's revitalized because I really like the first Transformer made a huge impact. It was a great film, and it brought out like this whole new CGI, which realistic thing, like CGIs can really look realistic. I mean, when you think about the time that they used and how much, like reading the articles, because I do animation, so reading the articles about how many layers they over 300,000 layers just to get it to look realistic. That's a fucking lot.
It is, and
It's
crazy. And I'll say it again. I really do think the
Is
visual
that
effects in
ILM?
Transformers is one of. I'm not sure.
Industrial
Who
Light
does
I'm not
that.
sure
Magic. Industrial Light Magic that
I
did
don't
all
know
the
who did
CGI.
I don't know because I'll tell you. Every time I see it, I'm always like, it's some of the best CG
It's a
I've
spectacle.
seen in
You can't
forever.
look away. You're like, this is.
And if that
really
was
good.
terrible, I don't think those movies would be doing good. And I think it's because of that makes it.
Yeah,
work.
I think it's literally because of the brand and how it looks. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say when you were describing how the movie should play out, it made me think of Super 8.
Yeah.
In many ways, Super 8 is
Yeah.
like telling the
it's
story
a
of
good
this
movie.
kid and the dad and this dynamic, and the mother passed away, and,
Yeah.
and the kid's kind of like hanging out with his friends, and then this alien crashes, their ship crashes
Yeah.
or
So
whatever,
good.
lands, and it has to collect all this shit. But it's not a particularly evil alien or anything like
No.
that. It's just like
it's
trying.
more violent than E.T.,
It's
but
just
it's
trying to
but
get
it's
home.
still just
Yeah, it's trying to get the hell out of there. It's like I landed into the wrong
trying
fucking
to build this thing
planet.
to get out.
Yeah, and so
It's
it's
saying
like
to Burger
it's like
King.
adding shit to its ship. Yeah, and so there's like this connection where they kind of like are chasing. They know something happened, and the kids are like trying to chase it, and then they see the alien, and it doesn't kill them or anything. It's like a friendly.
Yeah, right.
It's just like I'm trying to get the fuck out of here, and they're like, oh, they get it. They have
Yeah,
like that,
and that's
that
kind of what I
connection.
want to see with it is that kind of
They
thing.
could
I
have
don't-
done that, like a Super 8
That's what
with
I was trying
Bumblebee.
to say. That's why I was saying like kind of an ET thing. Like that's kind of what I would like to see.
Yeah.
And hopefully maybe that is what they're doing with it. It seems
Yeah.
like a little bit of what they're
It's
doing.
just like the fact that he's like like a bug and like a VW Beetle.
Yeah.
And which I know that's like what he was originally in the
Yeah.
animated show. Like he
Yeah.
was a VW Beetle, but I don't know if there was a
It
way.
is the 80s, so it's not.
Yeah, if there was
completely
like the
impossible.
reveal instead of her buying it and driving it into her garage and then him like if there was like a reveal that was more dramatic and more unexpected, because you just know that's going to
Yeah,
happen.
I would have
You're
liked to see something like maybe she builds the fucking car and somehow there's a chip in
He
there.
transfers to the car, like he
transfers
arrives to
it,
Earth
or
or
there's like a
something, or
chip
scans it,
inside
or-
of it, inside of one of like the fucking engine or something like that grows and starts to take over the system and then becomes him. Something like that, or he's.
Because what does the
that's
Autobot
not-
look like
but then
without scanning?
I know,
more
but
of
it would
I
just be
get it.
something different. Is all I'm saying. Is like I would have liked that, or maybe he's stuck as a fucking car for a while, and then she needs to do something to fucking.
They did that in one of the films.
All right, but like for like 5 minutes, I think, during a battle, right, or some shit. I'm just saying, like, I would have liked just to see a little bit more, like, don't just give us a fucking transformer, punch us in the face right away.
Yeah.
He
I want,
transformed,
like, an indie
and he's
Transformer
perfectly
film.
formed, ready to go. I mean, I get that that's what he is more naturally. He's not a car. A car is more of a disguise. So I do get that. I just want something different. Is all I'm saying. We're six. This is a sixth movie. Give us something.
But that's
different.
what they're doing. They're trying to revitalize,
Yeah.
and I think
And it might be good.
And I think it might be good.
This is like the new Friday the 13th.
Yes, the
or
Mission
Halloween.
Impossible 6 looks fucking awesome.
Which is weird. It shouldn't.
It should.
I don't
Not
know why
6
this
movies
movie
in.
looks good. I'm like, we
I'm
had this discussion. I need to rewatch the 5th movie,
Yes.
but I remembered not liking it. And this
Yeah.
movie, this trailer looks incredible.
I didn't like
Yes,
the last
and
one.
I really do think
I need
we
to
should
rewatch
rewatch
it because
the
he
fifth one.
says that the 5th one is really good. And
I
don't
rewatched
remember
it. I rewatched it. I
it-
Did
really.
you? Is it not?
No,
No,
trust
listen
me, just rewatch it. When I
Listen
watched
to
it,
me.
I've watched it 2 or 3
Listen to
times.
me. Listen to me. Don't listen to me. No, this is not me saying that the movie's bad.
Yeah.
It's to me,
He
it's
doesn't
not
like
a
Inception,
mission.
Neil. He doesn't like Inception.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
hold on
I
a
can't
second.
listen to you,
See,
Diego.
he said-
I can't
no.
listen to you.
If you listen to Nick,
When
he
they-
goes to like really extremes. He doesn't like. I respected Inception,
Inception,
and
yeah.
I gave it the props that it deserves because it's
Yeah.
a great. It just wasn't.
I'm gonna
for
say
me,
something really
and I
mean.
say that, but I don't give a fuck.
say
So
something really mean.
I just pointed to Nick in case you listeners didn't know.
But so you
what was
rewatched it recently.
happening. So I rewatched it when we talked about it 3 weeks ago.
I should rewatch it. Is it
I
on
rewatched
streaming?
it.
Is this on like Amazon Prime or
I think it
Netflix
was
or
on Prime
something?
that I watched it.
Okay.
And I felt the
I'll
same
rewatch
way.
it. I'll rewatch it.
There was a
Rogue Nation.
lot of-
Rogue Nation, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of elements that were missing from it that made me feel a Mission Impossible film.
Yeah.
So, and it's this is not me saying that the movie was a bad movie,
Yeah.
that they did a bad job. This is just me saying that there was some team elements.
That's how I
from
felt
Mission
about
Impossible.
that sequel to the Jack Reacher. The sequel to Jack Reacher felt
Never Go Back,
missing
whatever.
something.
Yeah.
It was like it wasn't bad. It was just like it seemed less somehow.
Yeah.
Like there was less story
Right.
or less. I don't know, energy, like, and that's how I
They
felt.
tr- they made it more-
on Mission
they-
Impossible 6,
I
and then
underst-
this or 5,
Yeah.
and this new trailer for Mission Impossible 6, like, looks like they've completely reversed that.
Yeah.
like
They
it just
made it more
looks
personal.
incredible.
Yeah.
The last one made it more. They tried to make it more about.
Rogue
Tom
Nation
Cruise.
was more like the original.
They tried to make it more of a personal
Like the first
story
one?
Yes.
about him.
Yeah, that was the most like the first one out of all the Mission Impossible.
I should. I need to rewatch it because I didn't get that. At
It's
all.
even if you listen to what he's saying, that's the point. The original one, he basically ends up fucked and on his own and has to put together this rag team of fucking guys that he doesn't necessarily know if he could trust himself.
Yeah.
And that's what Rogue Nation. It was the most like the original Spy, where they kind of like it wasn't just about gadgets and like craziness.
maybe I watched it and like fell asleep or something.
Maybe.
And,
I
like,
really
Watch
think
it.
if
See,
you
see
rewatch
what
it,
you
you'll
think.
see.
I
just-
stand by my
Yeah.
statement.
Also, I'm
I
going to
mean,
say
if
this is going to be a little bit mean, but when movies go a little too cerebral and a little bit too, mental, Diego has a problem with it.
What are you talking about?
Inception is a perfect example. It's too heady for him.
The
What are you
sixth
talking
one?
about? What are you
Huh?
talking
The
about?
sixth one?
What?
The sixth
Rogue
the
Nation,
fifth
the fifth one, yeah, Rogue
the
Nation.
Rogue
Yeah,
Nation?
it's a smarter, more.
I don't
thinking-
remember it being a
no,
smart
it was.
film.
It was smarter than It was smarter
That
than
is-
two.
That's a
fucked up.
fucking
That's
stupid
fucked up.
statement.
No, it had a
That's-
lot more going on than Ghost Protocol. It just had a lot more intricacies and sort of like heady.
I gotta watch. You're hyping the shit out of this.
No.
I have to rewatch this movie
100%.
now.
You rewatch it, you'll see
I'm
what I'm talking
rewatching
about.
it tonight.
Yes,
after
That's
every
such a stupid
television.
We'll watch it
statement.
together.
So
We'll
let
watch
me
it together.
correct him.
I'll be
because
watching it
I
with you
love
like
the
this,
beautiful
Neil.
mind.
Shit.
Yeah, that was
He's
a dumb
talking
statement.
shit. He's
That was.
talking
I
I
understand.
said it was
what
going to
you-
be mean.
That's
I don't
fucked
think
up.
it was mean.
That's fucked up.
I don't think it was mean. I don't give a shit
That's
what he
fucked
says,
up.
but it wasn't. I love Beautiful Mind. It's a great, incredible story.
Yeah, it's great.
I haven't
love.
seen Beautiful Mind actually.
You
Ron
should
Howard.
watch it. It's
I
a
know.
heady film.
Good. It is a heady film.
Because
yeah.
that nigga's a fucking smart.
He doesn't
ass.
like Inception, so fuck
You know?
him. Okay.
I
That's
don't
all
like
you need to know.
Inception. It's about just.
I just
it went
rewatched
too
Inception.
deep, and it didn't need to.
so-
go
I
there.
forgot
So-
how good a
so
movie
good.
it is. It's really good.
So
I mean, it's. I will say this as a critique of Inception. It feels like it's this great movie, but there's an element of it where it's like trying to appeal to the masses, which is why it made as much money as it did. because
Nolan
it's
does
still-
that.
It can still appeal. So I felt like he kind of cut himself short, whereas Stanley Kubrick would have like stuck 100% to his guns
Yeah.
and made the science fiction.
Nolan
film he
tries to
wanted
make a film
without
for
trying
everybody,
to appeal to anybody.
but Nolan does that without compromising at the same time. Like he doesn't actually compromise.
But it felt
he
like a
tries-
compromise.
No, his communication skills are just at a different level than Kubrick. Kubrick goes, "I'm communicating for me as an artist,"
And if you
Nolan
get it,
goes,
you get it. And
No,
if
but
you
that's
don't-
not because it's entertainment first. It's not. That's
I
what
don't
it
think
is.
that's how Kubrick looks at it.
I know. He looks at it like I think he looks at it more of he just wants to do art.
If
for the
you're
sake of art.
worthy, of
That's not what art is about.
understanding-
Communication.
This guy,
No,
look,
fuck that.
this
Okay,
fucking
we're
thing-
off. We're
Whatever
off.
Stanley or
We are.
Christopher
This guy's,
Nolan
like,
said
talking
in an
about, like,
interview that
he's
Stanley
Stanley-
Kubrick is the greatest
You
director
did.
of all time.
I know. I sent you that. Here's the thing,
this
though.
guy's talking like he should have lunch with Stanley Stanley
Christopher
Kubrick
Nolan.
and all of them, Christopher Nolan. Like he should be right there. Yeah, we
Kubrick
should-
couldn't
like,
make
this,
a Bumblebee.
This fucker is like just acting
Kubrick
like
couldn't
he's
make no Bumblebee.
What a dick.
Bumblebee tuna.
Yeah, I should. Where's your film?
All right, cut it before I kill you.
Where's your film?
My film? Don't watch any of the films. I've
Where's
done
your
so far.
film? Yeah.
Dude,
This motherfucker.
I'm just to say right now, like, we're talking all this shit about Bumblebee, but if we ended up in a scenario where like the studios were like, we want you to make Bumblebee 3 or Bumblebee 4, I'll be like, yeah, no, give us that money.
Oh,
I
no.
would
If we end up
100%
in the
compromise my
Dude,
integrity and
as
direct
a
that
studio,
movie.
I
think
have
about it.
like shreds of my soul
Diego,
left
you
for
would
how many
too.
times
You
I
would-
sold it.
No, this is what I'm saying. Think about it. As a studio, you spend so much fucking money in this film.
Oh, yeah.
And it starts going downhill. Your choices are to cut it and take a loss, or really invest in a way to try to revitalize the
Or
film.
hire a really good company to like make
But
a
that's
badass
what-
trailer
but that's
to
what
trick
Nick said in the
everybody and
beginning of
hope
the
to make all
podcast
your
is
money
that they
back in the
hired
first
these
2
writers-
days.
Yeah,
of its
right.
They
release.
hired these top end writers to really look at like how to strategize and how to bring these films to life.
I mean, I hope it's- I hope it's good.
Bumblebee was one of them, and so.
Yeah.
Hopefully they did that, and I think that's a smart decision because if you spend so much money within a film, you don't want it to die. I wouldn't want it to die if they say no.
Right.
If I was if I was the owner, whatever studio owner of Transformers,
Yeah.
To Universal.
and I really loved it.
I think it's Universal.
Is it
Paramount.
Universal? Is it Paramount?
Oh yeah, I think it is Paramount. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the stars.
Exactly.
And then they always have that,
Stars.
that like
In the mountain,
Transformers story.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If I was that studio, and I maybe part of it is that no, this is something that impacted my life. We can't let it die. Let's
I
invest.
mean, I think,
I get it.
I think studios are more like they understand that filmmaking, especially on the large scale, like the AAA type films, like the summer blockbusters
Yeah.
and all that. It's a gamble. They're going to invest $300 million in a film. They're hoping it's going to give them back 3 times that or
Right.
more. You know what I mean? And so it's a financial gamble, but at the end of it, there is a product that gets created that can then potentially live on
Yeah.
and get all these accolades. So it's like,
And then
you know,
merchandising.
it's an industry, it's a business.
but we're
Yeah.
talking about it too,
But it's-
like
it's
it's
also
dead.
like-
Transformer hasn't been dead. It has a following.
Yeah.
Even though they
It's like
still,
Fast and Furious. It's like Fast
Yeah.
and Furious. It's still going.
they still have a
they're
huge
doing a
amount
spinoff
of people going to watch it.
Yeah.
They're doing a Fast and Furious spinoff
Sure
where
are.
it's
With
going to
The
be
Rock
a young
and Jason Statham.
Yeah, it's The
Yeah.
Rock and Jason. Yeah.
And
my
Kevin
mind
Hart.
is going to implode.
Kevin Hart. Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us at this random ass podcast
Mm-hmm.
where we talk about random shit and Bumblebee and the
hard.
Bumblebee tuna.
Bumblebee
And-
tuna. Guys, you guys got to know what I'm talking about. If you don't,
I know
go
what you're talking
YouTube
about.
Bumblebee tuna Ace
Who
Ventura.
doesn't know? Oh, that's yeah.
No, I'm not talking about Bumblebee tuna. I'm literally talking. Every time I
thought
do
that-
it, I'm
this
only
whole
quoting that
time-
movie.
This whole time, I thought you were talking about the tuna.
No, Ace
like
Ventura when
Star-Kissed.
nature calls. He doesn't know the greeting, but it sounds like it, the African greeting or whatever. So he goes, Bumblebee tuna.
I
Bumblebee
need to
tuna.
rewatch that.
Yeah. It's not as good as the first one, but it's
I
still
know,
got its
I know.
moments. It's got its moments.
Jim Carrey always has his moments.
Yeah.
I like when he saw the white the bat, the albino bat or whatever, and then he just freaks out.
He
And he's
hates
like, "Whoa!" Yeah. His whole freak out is what made
He
me
said
like
that
like
she's
that
not a
movie.
virgin. They can tell. He's running.
It was more lewd. I would say that movie was more lewd, even though the first movie can be pretty lewd.
Yeah, no, the whole rhino
Mr.
out of
Winky
the rhino's
and all that
ass.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my
He
God.
found Mr. Winky.
Okay. Thank you guys for joining us at Get to the Podcast. Let's get to the podcast with the number 2. I'm Tiago D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
And he's still a dick.
Bumblebee Tuna.
Not me.
Not you!
Oh, Bumblebee.
Bumblebee Tuna.
Bumblebee Tuna.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.